Happiness is such a big word. We all know that we want it somehow, but nobody knows how to achieve it. We pursue an ambitious goal only to realize that in the end, it doesn't even matter. But isn't it the whole point of our existence being happy, having this state of peace, waking up every day refreshed, alive, fulfilled? Why is it then that almost nobody teaches us that? We spend years learning how to make money, but absolutely zero on how to fulfill the greatest state of mind of our beings, happiness. But what if there's a reason no curriculum teaches us that? What if happiness isn't something we can reach, but a chimera, and no amount of money or experience could ever give us that? In 1978 was published a classic study that examined the level of happiness of two different kinds of people after a major change. One were accident victims who lost their ability to move, eat, or do any major activity alone. Others were lottery winners in the Illinois state, many of them having won $1 million. And when researchers interviewed them approximately a year after the event, they found out that the level of happiness of victim were 3 and winner were 9. I'm messing with you guys. Yeah, the real level of happiness, 4. So after just a year, the majority of both groups returned to the same level of happiness independently of the condition in their life. This must be a joke, right? No, because this study has been replicated countless times, and all of the scientific community agree on the theory that whatever condition in your life, you generally end up going back to the same level of fulfillment. Like an internal thermostat, making sure you're neither too cool nor too hot. This is called the hedonic treadmill. I think we've all witnessed it in our life. My friend Messi is a happy and smart person. She's always on a project, smiling and having fun, and even when she messes up stuff and feels bad, she'll quickly bounce back and see the silver linings. Happiness level? 8 on 10. Me? I'm not a happy guy. Years ago, after struggling with learning, I was finally able to have some good grades, but instead of being happy and fulfilled, I couldn't help but think about how far my true goals were. I jealous all those monsters in the internet, my own friend, and in my stupidity of wanting more and more, I burned the crap out of myself. I couldn't leave my room for a good month. Happiness level 4 on 10. So why is Messi happier than me? What did she do to deserve a stronger and longer rush of adrenaline, dopamine, and endorphin? Well, the best explanation may be that she simply chose the good parent, because genetic is the best predictor of someone's happiness. Consider my two friends Daphne and Barbara, who were raised outside the town. They both left school at the age of 14 and worked in the government. They met their future husband at the age of 16 during a dance and gave birth to 2 boys and 1 girl. They feared blood and height and exhibited weird habits like drinking cold coffee and pushing up their nose with the palm of their hand and call it squidging. Spooky, right? But I have a confession to make. Those twins aren't my friend. They are subject of the 1997 study on Nature's clone. And I have a second confession. Daphne and Barbara never met each other until they were 14. They were separated at birth. This is how strong genetics can influence someone's character. This may be why ancient philosophers like the Stoic wanted us not to seek material's need. Happiness is not something that you can act on, and you only find it by accepting that good and bad things come and go. By detaching yourself from extreme feeling, you can reach a kind of serenity and find meaning in your life. Meditation is the perfect example. By focusing on a very small part of the body, like your breath for half an hour, constantly absorbing rather than fighting against distraction, you can temper the greed in your brain that always wants more life, more comment, more action, more feeling, and you can fuse and connect to the universe. What the hell? I'm not kidding. Study on mindfulness show that 1 month of practice literally changes the brain, decreases the activation in the part of the brain that makes us feel separated from the world. I look like an eliminated guru, but one of the strongest experiences I had in my life actually come from after an hour-long meditation. I felt so happy and fulfilled. I literally could have died at that moment and not care. But meditation doesn't work on everyone, and if so, you can directly hijack your genetics using drugs like Prozac. But the whole point of this video is to find why it's so hard for people to get happier. In this case, you may want to use therapy like CBT to help us redirect negative emotion actively and accept our situation, a bit like meditation. Well, that was it for the video, you guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Wait, what? Why are you still there? Oh, maybe there's something going on in the back of your mind. If happiness is really equal to genetic, then there's really nothing we can do to be happier. We are trapped in whatever nature gave us, and we should just surrender and walk into this narrow path until death relieves us from a torture. Sorry. Luckily, the answer is no. The study on the lottery winners made some wave in the psychology community, and though many agreed with it, some others found some flaws. First, it was a cross-sectional study, a study that compared two sets of subjects at a particular time but shed no light on how they felt before. Second, further analysis of the study told us that paralyzed subjects probably fared significantly worse than others. And third, there was a lot of variance between the subjects, and some lotto winners actually fared a lot better than others. Further longitudinal studies that looked on long-term change in happiness show that after a 17-year experiment, 24% of people changed significantly from their happiness baseline. Which raises the question, what made some of them adapt better? Our brain adapts to almost every condition, but some of them can lead to persistent changes in our feeling. For example, a chronic lack of money. Surprisingly, having to commute every day of a long distance, living in a noisy environment, and not choosing our movie has the same effect. Yes, not choosing your movie. Indeed, in a study involving two floors of patients, residents were offered free tickets and plants to water, but one floor couldn't choose neither the film nor the plant. The nurse did that for them. The others could choose together and had a responsibility to water the plants. 18 months later, and those ones had higher well-being level rated by themselves and the nurse, and a lower death rate, 15 versus 30%. The correlation between all of those factors may be the amount of control one has. Living in a house without fearing the rent, not being stressed up in traffic, and not being forced to hear feminist remarks by your colleagues. Why did all those philosophers and gurus tell us to accept things then? Because it's really hard to change the condition in our life. Currently, a lot of people are forced to work at home, can't go to the gym or restaurants as often as they would. This isn't that different from the situation where most of humanity was trapped on for thousands of years. War, disease, famine. Sometimes changing your life condition is out of the question. So is there another way to push our biological set point even higher? Everybody has his 2 cent opinion on what makes people happy. For some, it's earning a shit of money. For others, it's finding the perfect wife and having children. For me, it was achieving greatness, like ascending the Everest while gaining my Pulitzer Nobel Prize. Turns out that almost all of them are wrong. When I tell people that money doesn't make us happy, almost everyone agrees. But tell them that marrying doesn't lead to sustain happiness, and you're gonna get ripped off. But I don't care about opinion. And if there's nothing I can actively do to change my biological set point, I want to know. But if on the contrary, some actions can be taken, I want to understand how they arrive at those conclusions and in which way this can influence my life. So, what does science say about happiness in marriage? Well, an early study by Baumeister and Larry showed that indeed, married people were on average happier. But here's the thing. This was once again a cross-sectional study who didn't compare people's level of happiness before and after marriage. What if happy people like my friend Messi just turn out to marry more easily and divorce less often than others? And that's exactly why another study showed after taking the previous consideration into account. Results confirm that individuals do not get a lasting boost in life satisfaction following marriage. Individuals who reacted most positively to their marriage tend to be above their baseline many years after the event, but these individuals were counterbalanced by those who experienced a lasting decline in satisfaction after marriage. So some lucky bastard did get happier. Can we learn anything for them, or is it just like, again, happy people just tend to benefit the most from being married? Well, this time it turns out that happy people benefit the least from marriage in the long term, while sad people actually benefit the most. In your face, Messi. Now we have something to work on. Part of the reason sad people don't fully adapt to marriage is that they aren't as habituated to the positive event as happy one. But another reason is that some of them reacted differently than usual. How exactly? Well, activity that psychologists call coping strategy. When my pianist friend Malcolm lost his job a few years ago, he went into a drinking rampage, sleeping at 2 a.m. coming from the bar and brushing his teeth with beer like it was fucking Keisha. This way of reacting to negative events is called avoidance coping, and this is often employed by sad people. We refuse to acknowledge the truth by any means, and we get anxious thinking about how things messed up, how dangerous and unfair the world is, and what are we going to do? Oh my god, we can wake up and realize how love has cancer and something like. Sorry, I went so far. My bad. Contrary to those techniques are active coping. And the book Mindset by Carol Dweck shows a perfect example of active coping with a growth mindset. She speaks of a student who complains at uni about his long-lasting depression. The counselor asks him if he's currently doing some sport. He nods. She further asks if he has been missing some assignment. He hasn't. Lastly, she asks if he missed any class this day. Once again, he didn't. She asked him to go out. You're not depressed. When in reality, the student actually had trouble doing anything, but instead of giving up, he tried to push himself to do a bit every day. This active coping showed is characteristics of positive people. Because they tend to have a strong self-identity, they know that the action usually pays, and therefore they act when problems arise. Even when things don't turn out good, they will use reappraisal to rationalize the event, ask for social support, and look for the silver lining because they just intrinsically feel things will go for the best. But some sad people were able to use those mechanisms to increase your happiness level. Does it mean that if I try to see things positively and wish for the best, I'm going to get happier? No. How many times did I use positive mechanisms like journaling, gratitude, reframing? It never worked in the long run. Unuseful, a waste of my time. It's like a positive technique, and I can tell the sad person on which it didn't work. But studies show that using them work in the long run. So what are we missing? And why does it look like those activities are not subjected to a happiness adaptation, whereas winning the lottery, getting married, making more money, trying to achieve more goals, and virtually everything is? Because one of the most fundamental principles of our brain's behavior, habituation, a repetitive stimulus will end up being mostly ignored by the brain, whether it's positive or negative. The same way as if you tap the shoulder of your sister when she's playing, he will eventually ignore you. Habituation is your brain telling you, I don't give a fuck. The perfect answer to those phenomena could come from the study of Lyubomirsky and colleagues. They tracked throughout a 6-week period the level of happiness of 3 groups of students. Students doing nice action once a week, others spreading those small actions over the week, and the control group. The first group significantly increased the level of happiness, while the other didn't. Spreading acts of kindness or gratitude over time diminishes its impact, and people would end up being bored to hell. Habituation. This is especially harder for sad people because, as neuroimagery studies showed, it's harder to activate the irrational part using strategies like reappraisal or active coping. When using active coping mechanism and journaling or gratitude, do not force yourself to do the same routines every day. This is going to be annoying. You will be okay taking a day or two every week, or simply whenever you feel confused or really bad, and you can aggressively write about your problem or list the positive element in your life. Whatever you do, try to do something new and you will reap out the benefit. But if you just mindlessly follow some advice you saw on the internet, you're probably going to get bored to hell. Okay, I think it's time for a little summary. What is the best way to implement the strategy in our everyday life? 1. If you are severely suffering from depression or anxiety, please go see a doctor or therapy or meditation. 2. If not, look around and find the condition of our life you are not adapting to Maybe it's constantly fighting against your dad or mentalities of your surrounding. Then take the necessary step to change them. It's gonna suck, it's fucking hard, but this can bring you calm and serenity. And 3, find your strength and try from time to time to put it in action. Visit a new class in your university. Write the list of nice things that happened to you this week, or journal when you're confused, everything going on through your mind. And if you want to learn more about it, make sure you subscribe to the channel and read the book Happiness Hypothesis by Jonathan Haidt, covering all of the factors I couldn't mention in this video. Now, you may feel jealous about all those happy people, and it's normal. But as an unhappy person, I also feel like I can distance myself better than my peers from dangerous situations. In definitive, every character has his strength and his weakness, and we can turn the worst into an advantage. Because as always, nothing is smarter than our brain matter. And I'll see you next time.